All right. Well, here we are, Paul. We had planned to meet yesterday in person, but things didn't quite work out. So we're doing we're back to the online formats that we did before. We did this at the end of last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So how's it going? You look pretty comfortable.
Well, I'm home.
You're home, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're looking very relaxed. So,
Quite. Yeah.
yeah. So we had one of our subscribers who's been following us and watching our videos from the start, almost from the start, has been over the last several weeks, multiple times, week after week after week, has been writing to us about this island called Sentinel Island, where there was a missionary that was killed there. And there's some controversy about that because there are some people who think that missionary shouldn't have gone there and maybe got what he deserved. And of course, there's other people that would say, do you ever get what you deserve? If you're killed, aren't you justifying killing or murder? And we've generally not said anything about these comments because I don't think it necessarily had something that was of interest to our audience, or maybe it just didn't have as much of an appeal. But I thought because he's been commenting about it several times, we would look into it a little bit more and find out, may find out more about it and talk about it. So what do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, that's okay. I also try to look it up online. Try
Okay.
to see more.
So Sentinel Island is an island that's in the Bay of Bengal, which is part of the Indian Ocean. And this is to the east of India. And there's a group of people that live there called the Sentinelese people. And they are an isolated tribe who violently reject all outside contact. So if you try to go to this island, they will attack you with arrows and spears. Now there's something like a 3 nautical mile exclusion zone that's around the island that the Indian government has put up. And this is to protect the Sentinelese people from things like, people going to the islands and, potentially there's the risk if people go to the island because they're isolated from the world, they could get various diseases that could kill them. And they also have a history of hostility towards outsiders. So it's dangerous to go to this island because they will kill you if you try to go to this island. So just look at some of the things that have happened on this island. There was 2 Indian fishermen who were killed in 2006. And then there's the missionary that our subscriber has been telling us about. This missionary, his name was John Chow, and he was killed when he tried to go to the island in 2018. So this was about 7 years ago. Well, how much do you know? Because I think you looked up how many people actually live on this island. Did you do some research on that to see how many people are actually on this island?
Yeah. So about the numbers, there are varying reports, but between 50 to 500, depending on the resource that you get, the source that you find. But most sources quote between 50 to 150, but some sources go all the way to 500.
Okay. So primarily it's maybe a few extended families.
I'm just worried. I just wonder how that can happen over centuries, and the population can just.
And it's the only island that I know of, unless you know of any other ones, Paul, where people are so isolated and where their isolation is protected. Because whenever you have maybe there's still isolated tribes in the tropical rainforests in South American countries and so forth. But it's very rare to find a tribe that is isolated and has successfully been able to cut themselves off from the larger world. So
Yeah, like South America in the Amazons, I think there are a few tribes which are there
yeah,
isolated.
yeah, I think so too. But I mean, one of the things that our subscriber has been talking to us about is maybe about the conflict over is it justifiable that this missionary was murdered? Because some would say, for example, that he shouldn't have gone to the island, that he was warned there was a zone of protection around the island in which people were told not to go. He's a missionary, so he went in to take the Christian gospel to the people of this island, and of course he was killed for it. So what is your kind of take on this?
Now, first, I would like to get yours because I don't want to bias your opinion because mine, I know you can't bias me. So you give me yours, then I hear.
So I'm kind of torn because I kind of got mixed feelings on this. Because on the one hand, I'm saying, okay, if you know that this island is cut off and they're warning you, if you try to come here, we'll kill you. You know that, and the Indian government is protecting them and saying, hey, we're protecting this island. Don't go there. Don't go within 3 miles of this island. You know what you're walking into. I don't condone any sort of death, but I think that there's a general sense in which you can say, okay, you know there's a real danger here. You know you're taking a risk if you go to this island. But yet at the same time, as a Christian, you know, I believe in missionary work and I believe in taking the gospel in, you know, to all the remote locations. So I can understand why this missionary did what he did. But of course, this missionary, if he's going to do that, he should know the risk. You know, I can understand the desire of the missionary to want to take the gospel into this unreached people group, as long as he understands that there's a definite risk that he may not come back out alive, you know. So I personally would tell people, you know, don't go to this island because it's a known fact they're going to kill you if you try to go to this island. They're going to attack you. So it's dangerous. But that's my feelings about it. I don't know what your thoughts are.
No, if someone takes poison and they die, it's a pity that they've died. It's suicide, you know. But if someone takes poison without knowledge that it's poison, then it's a bigger pity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to a territory that you've been warned against and you have nothing to defend yourself, then you look for it.
Yeah.
You're bordering on suicide. You know, so for me, I would think that they acted suicidal. So I cannot be on their side. Though I wouldn't celebrate their passing.
Yeah.
But I feel like they went into some risk, and they ignored all the warnings unless they didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But if they knew, if they had been warned, and then they just went anyway.
Right.
We can't blame anyone.
Yeah. I would never celebrate somebody's death or say that they got what they deserve. Because as I said too, I can understand why this missionary would want to go there and do this. And many missionaries down throughout history have gone into dangerous places and have lost their lives for it. So the danger doesn't stop people from going in. But as long as you understand when you go to this place, there's a real danger. But there's another issue I'd like to talk about, Paul, and that is just simply the isolation of the group. And what are your thoughts of the people maintaining their isolation from the rest of the world?
Well, there is a saying that ignorance is bliss. I think in one of our earlier videos we hinted on it. If I don't know that there's an iPhone 17 out there, I'll comfortably use my iPhone 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I can Google, I can do everything I want because I don't know about an iPhone 17. The 6 will do everything for me and life goes on. But the knowledge that there is something better, you know, it unsettles my life. It makes me more ambitious. It makes me more stressed, you know. because I know about something better. So ignorance is bliss, and they are not knowing what's going on outside in the outside world. It gives them that blissfulness
Yeah.
that many of us don't. Because now me, I'll compare myself to someone who has a better car, but for them, it's more about this man is stronger, this woman is more beautiful. They have the normal things, like they're living life raw. So I
Hmm.
think building themselves from the pressure of the world beyond, and on the other part, now probably you may find that given that they've cut off themselves from the entire world, I think you said it earlier, there's a risk of contracting diseases from us,
Yeah.
because um, their immunity is not the same as ours, clearly,
Right.
you know. So, and besides, if they're happy, if they feel well sustainable, then we let them be.
Yeah. So should they be cutting themselves off? Do you think they should be cutting themselves off? Or maybe we're not really talking about whether they should or shouldn't do, but we can
No, I
understand.
think they have a right to cut themselves off. If they feel like they don't need to
Yeah.
interact with us, then it is well.
It's not like they don't know that we exist. They definitely
They,
know that there's a wider world.
mm,
But is there anything else
I,
that you,
we don't know what information they have. By the time they're trying to protect themselves from the outside world, they probably have some information about the outside world that is not good.
Mhm.
Or probably centuries back, some outsiders came in and they made their lives a nightmare, and they don't want to experience that again. And I think the few of them who might be exposed to the outside world, they don't bring in good news, bad things. So they,
war and there's conflict out here?
yeah, toxic competition. So they're like, no, we don't want to bring that back home. I think they might have had some bad experience, or the things that they hear of in the world outside them are not encouraging to want to be a part of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And besides, they might be peaceful. They don't have wars. They don't just have their own normal conflict, like family
Except when
conflicts.
people try to come to their island, then yeah, and you try to come to
Yeah.
their island, they will protect. So, but yeah, but it's not like they're ignorant of the outside world. And
No, the idea is 18 in the 1800s. Those missionaries did know better. Now they know better. So you can't act the same way as the missionaries of the 1800s,
yeah,
1700s. I'm all for their autonomy.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right, because they're one of the few places in the world that still have that autonomy. So, all right, did
So
we?
basically,
Oh,
this
go on.
imperialist colonizing people, it hasn't really made the world a better place, really.
Hmm.
So, like in Uganda, they found us with monarchies and all that, and they demonized them, and they brought democracy and took and fought our monarchies, and they demonized them. So the democracy experiment didn't seem to be something we needed, because it has only caused more harm than good, really, because um, with many countries literally have kings that have to be voted democratically, and democracy is very expensive because campaigns are full of vote rigging, lavish expenditures, bribing voters, all these things. It doesn't help. Rather declare someone as a life president and life goes on. But before that, we had people who are raised to be kings. Someone is raised to be a king from when they are born until they don't have to campaign. And we don't have to have useless elections where people kill each other. You know, the king would appoint people and give them ministerial positions because on merit. But now it's about being the most popular person in the place, and people vote you whether you're competent or not. So I would understand why those people don't want nothing to do with the outside world.
Yeah,
Because the things we bring in with our so-called civilization, They don't really cut it.
Okay. So, so this is just kind of a brief, we just wanted to get a video out and we thought this would be a good, quick way to do it to address this issue. Hopefully we'll be back next week with maybe something more typical of something we do, a more extensive video on some timely issue. And we can figure out the glitches in this. I don't know if I like the online format very much, Paul. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I enjoy being in person more. I think it's, I don't enjoy the online kind of sessions that we've done as much, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know. We'll come back maybe another 7 days, Paul, and work out the bugs, and we'll have another topic. So I guess bye for now.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.